Bro, Joe Rogan said something about Andrew Tate that people are dragging back up right now. And honestly, the timing could not be worse for him. No cap, at the time it sounded reasonable. It sounded fair. But wait for it, because with everything happening to Tate this week, that same take is getting ripped apart online for a completely different reason. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're gonna understand exactly why Rogan's old words are suddenly everywhere again. Okay, so here's the situation right now. Andrew Tate is sitting in a Miami federal detention facility, handcuffed and shackled, facing a combined 59 charges alongside his brother Tristan. Rape counts, trafficking counts, charges tied to indecent images of a child. And as this whole thing plays out in real time, people online started resurfacing something Joe Rogan said a while back when Tate first got arrested overseas. Rogan told people to slow down, said the allegations needed to be properly vetted in court, and pushed back on anyone who wanted to see Tate go to jail just because they didn't like him. At the time, that sounded like the fair, measured take. But according to close sources to Joe Rogan, the new charges have got him and other celebrity figures that once defended Andrew Tate before questioning everything. Now here's where it gets crazy, bro. That old clip is going viral again, except this time, the context around it looks completely different, because the case Rogan was being cautious about has grown into something way bigger than a single overseas arrest. We're talking federal detention, multiple countries involved, a charge sheet that's grown into the dozens. And when people go back and watch Rogan calling Tate's whole persona theater, calling it satire, arguing, hoping someone's guilty just because you dislike them is basically hoping victims exist. It hits different now that the actual details are this serious.
What do you think of all his stuff?
I don't know what's happening, right? Like what really happened, and why is Romania going after him? Are they being pressured by someone else to do this? Like what is the reason why they're doing it? And what do they have on him? I don't know. They want him to go down, and they want him. He represents something. He represents toxic masculinity.
He is sort of toxic.
I would rather the charges be incorrect. Look, Romania, I don't know what their system is like. I don't know whether they're corrupt. I've heard things, but I don't know. I don't have any real information. So I'd be talking out of my ass to say, if he really did, like, sex traffic people, if he really did all the things he's saying, well, I hope that gets proven in court, and I hope he gets punished if he really did that. If he didn't do that, I hope he gets exonerated, and I hope he gets the fuck out of Romania. I don't know. I don't know what he did.
So naturally, the reactions online are split, bro. Some people are saying Rogan wasn't defending Tate's actions. He was defending due process. And that's still a fair legal principle, no matter how bad this looks now. Other people are saying the opposite, that giving Tate that kind of public benefit of the doubt on a platform with millions of listeners helped normalize him at exactly the moment more alleged victims were coming forward. And Rogan wasn't alone in that cautious lane back then, but his comments are the ones getting the most traction right now, specifically because of how much worse this case has gotten since he said them. But here's where it actually gets wild. Stay with me, because while all this old footage is getting recirculated, Tate himself just posted from inside federal detention describing his own conditions, claiming he's being held in the highest security unit available, no commissary, no visits, describing a cellmate he called disturbing. And obviously the internet immediately pointed out the irony that posting on social media kind of contradicts the whole no outside contact claim. But putting the irony aside, it's a strange full circle moment. The same guy Rogan once described as playing a character for money is now the one describing real, non-theatrical conditions from inside a real jail cell, while facing charges that are nowhere near as easy to wave off as they used to be. The conditions inside Miami's federal detention facility have become a major talking point. Andrew Tate has claimed he is being held in the Special Housing Unit, SHU, describing it as one of the harshest environments in the facility.
Andrew Tate says he is furious because he is being held in solitary confinement in the SHU, the quote, highest level of security which exists. He's upset he gets no commissary, he gets no visits, and no contact with the outside world, and his neighbor is a, quote, cannibal who screams throughout the night. Several things here. Number one, Andrew Tate is facing extradition on some of the most horrific crimes you will hear about, and so there's very little sympathy for this person. Number two, many ask, how can he be tweeting this, which went up on his Twitter today, when he claims he has no contact with the outside world? Now, presumably, there is no prohibition on him using the prison or jail phone calls to call a friend or a family member who has access to his Twitter to post. But that would mean they would have contact with the outside world. There's no way he has a phone or access to a device inside the facility. I can pretty much guarantee that, especially a device that would allow him to go on Twitter. But not many people have sympathy for him right now. Spread the word, follow along for all the news you need to know about.
It's a situation that's already reignited discussions from years ago, when figures like Joe Rogan questioned the mental toll that prolonged detention can have on a person while legal proceedings drag on. The conversation wasn't just about Andrew Tate, it was about how anyone copes under those conditions for weeks or months without knowing when they'll get out. Now, with Tate once again behind bars, millions are watching to see how this latest chapter unfolds. As one of the internet's most controversial figures, every development in his case is attracting global attention, making it one of the most closely followed legal battles involving an online personality in recent years. Here's where the bigger question comes in. Stay with me. Because Tate isn't just another name moving through the federal system quietly. He's one of the most recognizable, most polarizing figures on the internet, with millions of followers watching every single move he makes from behind bars. And that's exactly why a lot of people online are speculating that the system might treat his case differently than an average defendant's, whether that means extra scrutiny, extra caution, or prosecutors and judges being especially careful given how closely this is being watched. That's not confirmed anywhere, bro. It's speculation. But when you combine that level of public attention with 59 charges and his own admission that conditions inside are rough, it's easy to see why so many people think this specific case is playing out under a magnifying glass nobody else in the system has to deal with. And no cap, that magnifying glass cuts both ways, bro. On one hand, you've got supporters arguing his fame makes him an easy target, that prosecutors get to score a headline win just by going after someone this recognizable.
Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested in Miami for additional charges. They have been charged with 32 new offenses, 19 relating to indecent images of a child and extreme P. Look, there's no one that can stand by these two at this point. Like, the level of charges is insane. That means they have seen evidence and they believe they can get a prosecution on 32 new offenses, 19 relating to indecent images of a child and extreme P. How on earth can you justify this in any way, shape, or form? How can the most avid streaming maniac believe that there is any good anywhere near here? It's absolutely insane. Look, the most important thing is I just want justice to be done so we can move on. I feel like we've had these weird villains that have been dominating the conversation around men and manosphere, and this has been given an example of what men get up to. But if you ever hear his story, it's so clear why he's become who he's become, and not as a justification, but as an understanding to the pipeline of these types of men. This guy wanted his daddy's approval for so long. He wanted his daddy's love, he wanted his daddy's support, and he never got it, and he turned into this. Dads matter so much in the beginning formative stage, especially in the first 7 years. And many, many men have many reasons why they're not there in their own minds and their own intellectualization of their abandonment. But you create these monsters. These monsters don't come from babies. He wasn't like this as a child, clearly. He wanted a life that was different, and now look who he's becoming. This is not diminishing his ability, but it's to raise the alarm to men about the impact of abandoning their young boys. They create these things. Mother wounds and father wounds can both create this.
On the other hand, critics are saying the opposite, that his platform and influence are exactly why this shouldn't get special treatment either way, softer or harsher. Either way, this isn't just a legal case anymore. It's basically playing out in public in real time, with every hearing, every post, every reaction becoming its own story before the actual verdict is even close to being decided. So where does this actually leave things? Rogan's old comments weren't him declaring Tate innocent. They were him arguing for due process. And that's a principle that technically still applies right now. But the case around Tate has changed so dramatically that those same comments read completely differently today. 59 combined charges, federal detention, an extradition fight with 3 countries involved. This isn't the same story it was when Rogan first weighed in, and no cap, it's fair to wonder if he'd say the same thing today. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.